Hi, I'm John Mallows. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. I am glad you are here because today we're talking about Temperance Flat for the entire hour. Two guests are sitting here in the studio today, two key members too that are really leading the charge to get Temperance off the ground. 436-ME-TV option 11. Back with your phone calls. Connect with Me starts right now.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
And glad you're here on a Wednesday morning, and a topic that looking forward to talking about the entire hour. It's Temperance Flat. We've talked about it a few times over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Not a lot, but we've touched on the topic, and certainly a lot of people want Temperance Flat built. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, you're watching us live on Comcast, channel 375. As usual, Comcast Cable, 43.6 and 13.1 over the air with a broadcast television antenna. And then the replay comes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. That's over the air broadcast as well with an antenna. Afterwards, you can go to our webpage, Ventura Broadcasting, and just Google Ventura Broadcasting. You'll see us up there. Connect to the Connect with Me webpage. You'll find most, if not all, of the shows we've done here the last 5.5 years. Hey, just a couple of programming notes for tomorrow. We're going to have Peter Nazaridian in the house. He's our resident family therapist talking about love and marriage. Then on Friday, two special guests in the house. One, a first-time guest. The second guest will be a repeat guest. We'll talk about what's happening with the national anthem and the National Football League and President Trump. So should they take a knee? Should they just not even come out on the field, stay in the locker room? Whatever the case may be, it is a hot topic as we enter week number 4 of the NFL. We'll see what happens this weekend as some of these players decide to take a knee or not. Anyway, today we're talking about Temperance Flat. And, you know, we've been talking about this, or a lot of people have been talking about Temperance Flat for more than 20 years. But now there is a real possibility that Temperance Flat could in fact be built. Well, people often say, and have often said, that it's too big and it's too expensive, and that's why it'll never be built. Well, roll the videotape. Show you what I'm talking about, my friends. There it is. All that has changed. Just about everyone is behind this huge project now. People on both sides of the aisle say it's long overdue and that Temperance would satisfy all of our water needs, including those who want to protect the environment. California voters passed the water bond in 2014, $7.5 billion worth. And just recently, the San Joaquin Valley Water Infrastructure Authority submitted the application seeking $1.3 billion in bond money from California Water Commission. Enough seed money to get this thing going, according to Mario Santoyo, the executive director of the authority. Temperance Flat will cost a total of $3 billion, so the authority is going to seek money from the feds, private sources, and elsewhere to fully fund the project. State Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon toured the site recently on the proposed dam site on the San Joaquin River east of Fresno, along with Assemblyman Joaquin.
I would like to welcome everybody here to Millerton Lake. It is my honor to stand here in front of Friant Dam, a truly transformational project when it was constructed. We are all here as one, united in voice, as strong supporters for Temperance Flat. There has been much work on Temperance Flat for decades, but this past week marked a major milestone, that the San Joaquin Valley Water Infrastructure submitted their proposal to the California Water Commission for funding through Proposition 1 for the construction of Temperance Flat.
So what was right here 200 years ago?
A river.
Really?
Natural flow and right down the middle. It's just kind of like a valley between two sides. And it all flowed down the San Joaquin.
This is an incredibly important part of the state. This is the spine of our state. by virtue of the presence of the large infrastructural projects that we are working on here, by virtue of the large infrastructural programs with which we want to build here. It tells you a lot about how incredibly important this community is to the entire state and to the West Coast.
Temperance Flat will nearly triple the water storage capacity that we have above Friant Dam and help to deliver water from the San Joaquin River to the farms and on the west side and ensuring more reliable water flows. Temperance Flat will be key for us in groundwater recharge. With California's new Sustainable Groundwater Management Act in place, getting water back into the severely overdrafted aquifers is crucial. Temperance Flat will help to boost the local economy and will create economic opportunities. It is time for California to invest in water infrastructure to meet the crisis of today and to prepare for tomorrow.
All right, live in our studio right now is Mario Santoyo, the Executive Director of the San Joaquin Valley Water Infrastructure Authority. He's one key member that's going to try to get the ball rolling here. And of course, Supervisor Buddy Mendez, he's a return guest. Gentlemen, before I go to break, welcome back to the program, Buddy. Mario, first-time guest. And so it seems like, and I want to get a comment from both of you about this, you know, this has been a controversial issue for a long time. Everybody says, it's too big. Costs too much money. We don't have billions of dollars to spend on this. But now, it seems, who wants to kick this off? It seems like everybody's on board with this. Am I wrong about that?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you.
Because we believe that this is a project that will make a significant difference for our valley's future, and that's why the San Joaquin Valley water infrastructure was put together by 5 counties, and Buddy here from Fresno County is our vice president and has been leading the fight for us. But yeah, to answer your question, is that it is a dam that it is going to cost about $3 billion, but if you stop and think about what happened the past 5 years when we were in a historical drought, when every drop of water was invaluable and people, farmers were paying up to $2,500 an acre foot, where normally an acre foot might be selling for $70 an acre foot. There is nothing that you can build that would not be worth, our future in the valley. Yes, it's a lot of money, but we're within less than a year to knowing exactly how much we're going to get from the state. We applied for $1.3 billion.
And you're going to know, as to my understanding, I think it's going to be June 18th of 2018. Is that the date? You'll know?
That's absolutely correct. However, in January of 18th, we will be given our first notice as to where we rank relative to all the projects that have been submitted. Then we have
including one in Sacramento.
Including one in the Delta there near Sacramento. But we'll have 6 months to be able to make our case to the California Water Commission to increase our positioning, should we not be at the top. But I fully expect that our project will be at the top.
Is everybody on board with this now, Buddy, do you think? Because you're a politician now. You talk to other politicians, both liberal, conservative. Is everybody on board?
Pretty much, John, because this project is actually south of the Delta. So we're south of the demilitarized zone. We don't have to go through any of the entanglements for this water. Yeah. It's right here. So this is a natural fit. And the fact that over 2 million acre feet were dumped to the ocean out of this system, this dam in 1 year would fill up.
Yeah. So is there anybody that you talk to in Sacramento, for example? Democrats run the state, basically. Right. Are there any Democrats not on board with this?
Well, I think I'll let Mario answer this question.
Well, I'll start. Yeah. The key Democrat that we have to embrace on this project is the governor. And
really? Okay.
He has not necessarily taken a definitive position on any of the projects yet. I think he's a little hesitant to embrace above ground storage just because he's got lots of Bay Area relationships. Ultimately, though, I think once he has the time to sit down and fully understand the value of this dam to this valley and the economics to California, I think he'll have no choice other than to embrace it.
Why is it so hard to understand what our needs are?
I don't know. To me, water's a very simple subject, and most people it's a very complicated subject. But as we, engage different people in leadership in the Democratic Party in Sacramento, the more that they come and they see it, and it's, oh yeah, this is a good thing. And there's actually been just a negative persona about the whole project that it's kind of like you have to turn, turn the beat around. You have to turn the people around to say, hey, look at this. This is a great project.
Right.
And as soon as they see it, they like it.
Hang on, caller. Get to you in a minute. Yeah, but you still have some Democrats to convince, including the governor. And I don't know. Hang on, caller. Get to you in a moment. What about State Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon? He was here.
Yes.
You took the boat ride, the tour, with him. Does he fully understand the water issue here in the valley, that Millerton Lake simply is not big enough?
I think he understood that after we discussed the project, and he had a chance to visit the site. And more importantly, I think he also had an opportunity to meet a number of the people from the valley, and that's why in one of his statements he reflected that it was hard.
Hang on, caller.
It was hard for him to forget the faces of both farmers and farm workers that were displaced due to the lack of water. So I think he's come to a greater appreciation of the project.
All right, caller, you've been patient. Go ahead. What's your question for our two guests here today?
Do they know basic science where it says that if the water's got to come from rain's got to come from the ocean, and then it's got to be returned, the water's got to be returned back to the ocean, and the cycle continues and continues. If we block off every exit of water, so we can produce and get more wealth, how does that translate to anything we want? For millions of years, we've had this cycle of, and then all of a sudden, if you look in the background, you'll see that all the glaciers are now moving back away from them, or being totally evaporated. And then also look down in the Antarctica, and all that is now less, and all the ice is melting and everything else.
Okay,
water that we're not let back.
Caller, are you for or against Temperance Flat? That's what I want to know.
I'm against any dam. If you want a dam, I'll tell you how you do it. You do it like they do on PBS. They went and got a beaver, and this woman and this man had a piece of land, and on the land they turned right around and had beavers relocated in there. That land turned into, had little mini lakes and some more water, and turned into marshland, and they have more, like over 30 more migratory birds come into it. If you want a dam, go to the beaver. It costs a lot less.
Let me just
it's a
say
better
this,
job.
Caller, let me just say this. Right now, Millerton Lake does not serve our needs because the dam is not big enough. Okay, it holds 450 million acre-feet of water. So much of that water has gone down into the ocean just this year alone. About 200. How much?
It's actually just near 2.5 million acre-feet.
2.85 million acre-feet of water have gone down into the ocean, water that we could have used here in the Central Valley for farmers, for the fisheries, farmers on both sides, the east and west side. If you add Temperance Flat, you'd be adding 1.2 million acre-feet of water. That would be 1.6 million acre-feet of water total for the Central Valley. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Water that everybody can use. Everybody would be happy. The environmentalists would be happy. Farmers would be happy. Everybody would be happy. What do you say about that, caller?
I say you're wrong.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because of the fact that you're not listening to nature. We just went through a whole bunch of a hot summer 20, 16 days straight, triple digits. All this is all taking place. We're going to turn back into the desert if we don't return the water to the ocean, so it can come back as snow and come back as rain, so that we can have new glaciers and stay. It's science.
But building, but wait
only
a second.
doing
Wait a
this
second.
because of money.
Just because you build Temperance Flat doesn't mean that water isn't going to run out into the ocean. It just means less water is going to run. It's still going to run out there. Water has to run down there, but we won't be.
You have a system that's set in place by centuries, and all we're concerned about here is more water for farmers, more water for this, more water for that.
Well, do you want to eat?
You're not thinking of the long term.
All right, hang on, caller. Don't go away. Don't go away. Buddy, who wants to pick this up?
Let me address this.
All right.
With all due respect, and everybody has a right to have an opinion, but it's not the first time that we've heard these type of arguments. These arguments were made before all the dams in California were built. Every time a dam gets proposed, you go through these same arguments. Now, I would suggest that you step back and take a look at California. If it had not developed its water resources, would we have the California we have today? I think you'd find that the answer would be no, because you would not be able to manage your water resources. You would not have Southern California, where most of the people are at. You would not have the Central Valley, where most of the food is grown. You'd have a whole different California. So if you like California, it was developed principally because of the way water was managed. Now, in terms of water going to the ocean, I'm a water resources engineer, and I'm not exactly sure where he's coming from, but it's not exactly the way we
What's
got.
a water resources engineer? What does that mean? What do you do?
What that means is I'm a civil engineer with expertise in terms of water hydrology and water resources.
So what the caller is saying is
It's not very accurate. There's no
from a scientific standpoint.
From a technical perspective, okay. The bottom line is this: is that there is a water cycle, but the water cycles are not limited to water from the ocean. It includes everything. It includes evaporation. It includes groundwater movement. It includes a whole lot of other factors. But the way I would look at it for your broader audience is this: is that
the caller's on the line listening. So
this water that we're talking about is for the farmers to be able to grow our food. It's for the cities, like the city of Fresno, depends on this reservoir. So if you live in Fresno and you would like to have water to drink and bathe and so forth, then you want to have that water. It also serves other communities in this valley. So it's for the farmers, the cities, and the environmental community, because the way we're going to manage the water is going to enhance the viability of fisheries in the river and the riparian. So if you like all those things, then you want to be able to manage this water.
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay.
And we'll get back to the caller.
The city of Fresno has 60,000 acre-foot of Class 1 water. Their problem is they cannot carry it over. Mm-hmm. With this dam, they'll be able to carry over water. They will be the investors in the middle money, because we have to have investment. The investment is the city of Fresno and the other irrigation districts that are in the Friant water users and the West Side, in the West Side group. Okay. The city of Fresno needs that in order to carry over water, and that protects the drinking water. They're building a huge drinking water plant to so they have to have a permanent supply, and this will give them a permanent supply.
Caller, our guest says that you're scientifically wrong about that water going into the ocean.
Well, he can say whatever he wants, but I got a question for you. If you're so perfect on this thing and all that, how in the world did we survive for millions and millions of years?
That's a simple answer. Basically, man has the ability to use his brain in developing the resources that man needs to survive. part of that was figuring out how to manage its water supply, because as a human, we don't have a choice whether we want to eat or whether we want to drink water. Those are mandates. So man was able to develop means such as dams to be able to manage water so as to make it available for the public. That's what we're doing here. And so we're
And not only that, and I'm not taking sides here. I'm not trying to create a fight here. What I'm trying to say is that California now has what, buddy? 35 million people living in California.
Yeah.
Roughly 35 million. You know, back when I was born, what, in the late 1950s, how many people were living in California? So you have more of a demand for water and resources and food and gasoline and cars and roads. So there's more of a demand for everything in California because there's 35 million people living in this state. Go ahead, caller.
Well, I was just curious. I won't, you know, it's got to be that when we have water, we can return it to the ocean. And like I say, that's pure, just average science. But nobody wants to admit to that because. So anyway.
So what do we? Caller, before you go, let me ask you a question. If we let all that water, we take away all the dams in California, and all that water runs out into the ocean, what are we going to do for drinking water and farm water for the farmers to grow food? Where are you going to drink water? Where's that water going to come from that you drink?
It'll come back in snow and rain. That's what science says.
What's going to come out of your tap? What water will come out of your tap?
Well, water's coming out now.
Well, yeah, but if we eliminate the dams, is that same water going to come out of your tap?
It did before, and you know, it's just like.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right, gotcha.
Gonna,
all right, thank you for calling. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, caller. Got to take a break here, long overdue. 436 MeTV option 11. We're back here with our program. If you have an opinion, you're welcome to it because we're not discriminating against you and your opinion. You can have any opinion you want. Call in. We'll take your call. Back in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to digital channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV guide.
At a location on Millerton Lake, that's a lake behind Friant Dam, run by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. Temperance Flat would be constructed at the beginning here at the mouth. It would, in essence, provide a storage capacity of 1.2 million acre feet, which combined with the residual storage here created by Friant Dam of another 450, puts us about 1.6 million acre feet. The construction of the bigger dam would create more available cold water to be used for the fisheries downstream. It would also provide for water during extreme dry years that would have been carried over from wet years to be used in the river to keep a healthier river system.
Our family went through the drought these last that 5-year drought these last several years, and it was a pretty devastating experience for us. You can see the dead trees stacked up behind me now. Pre-drought we were about 1,200 acres, and after the drought we'd pushed out 500 acres and we're now farming 700 acres. We had to let go a number of employees that have been with us for decades in some cases. And it was a very difficult time, very stressful time, very expensive time. We spent a lot of money buying water, very scarce water. As you can see, we suffered a lot of damage to our crops, to our investments. Temperance Flat offers an opportunity for farmers like me and other farmers in the valley and on the Central Valley Project to have a more reliable water supply. It would increase the storage on the Friant Dam project and make weathering droughts like we just had a lot more possible. Temperance Flat would make a big difference for myself and my family.
All right, a video produced there. It's on YouTube if you want to go see it. It's talking about Temperance Flat, and Mario Santoyo is the man talking in that video. He sits right here, a civil engineer, water engineer as well. Buddy Mendez, the supervisor, of course. And caller, you've been patient. Go ahead and weigh in on this conversation here.
Well, I hate to bring common sense to the conversation because it was interesting how the one of the guests said, you know, you have to convince the governor. And I think your first caller was indicative of the mentality in Sacramento and of the governor, I dare say. His father was much more progressive on water projects. And I love how the gentleman, the engineer, talked about man's dominion over his environment to provide those things like food and an economy. And you have people like Kevin De Leon, the Speaker of the Senate, who I really believe who you need to convince, that believes if we do a Temperance Flat, as he said on a local news magazine over a year ago, we might have a stranded investment. And we need to be careful because what happens if it doesn't rain again? And this is the idiocy, the mentality in Sacramento that is preventing us from growing. Well, you're right, John. We haven't built a reservoir of any size since we did over at where Kennedy did over Pacheco Pass, the San Luis Rey Reservoir.
San Luis
and
Reservoir in 1963, yeah.
That's right. And Kennedy, a Democrat, I might add, came and dedicated that reservoir.
Yep.
Now, you have folks that want to tear down Hetch Hetchy, that live in San Francisco, that get their water. So we tried to raise a dam here, Lake McClure, 3 feet, and it was like pulling teeth because, you know, you're going to kill grasses, this and that. I am on your side. I agree. We need Temperance Flat. We need Sykes. We need them all. They all need to be number one. But you're going to get nothing but lip service from the current regime up there in Sacramento.
Okay.
Kevin De Leon has no, it's like when they talk about energy, you know, all of the above, nuclear, wind, blah, blah, blah. No, what they want is wind. They don't want nuclear. And what they want with water is recharge, conservation, but above ground surface storage, you might as well be preaching, talking to aliens because they don't understand.
Okay, hang on. I think that's Mr. Merced Man calling. Am I right? Are you Mr. Merced Man?
I am Mr. Merced.
Mr. Merced, he's up there in Merced. He watches all the time. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, well, it's
itching
good
to chime
to
in.
hear a voice of sanity. Thank you very much.
The first call was on this side or the left.
No,
this calls are on the right.
No, this was a call now from sanity. That's the other call. Was no science, insanity.
Is he right? Do you have to still have to convince Kevin De Leon? Do you still have to convince Rendon, the Speaker of the House, and the governor, all three at the same time, and then they can convince the rank and file?
At least 2 of the 3.
At
and
least
I'll
2 of the 3.
I'll let
Mario. Go ahead,
explain
Mario.
more.
So at the end of the day, the people that are going to make the decision as to how much we're going to get to build Temperance Flat are 9 individuals on the California Water Commission. So really, it isn't.
Those people are more important than those 3 politicians we just mentioned?
Yes, they're the ones that.
The Water Commission.
They're charged to make the decision. Okay.
And it's their final word?
It's their final word.
It won't be the governor?
It will not be the governor. Now, the reason that we.
Can the governor stop it?
No, he cannot stop it.
Can the Speaker of the House or the Speaker of the Senate stop it?
The answer is no. Because I was part of the 2009 effort that created the legislation. We purposely put in what we call continuous appropriation. What that means is that once the voters vote for it, legislature cannot stop it. Okay, so we purposely did that to prevent that train crash from occurring. Now, the reason that we've talked about wanting the governor to embrace it, or at least be neutral about it, is that the 9 individuals that we're talking about still are appointed by the governor, and to whatever direct or indirect way.
Are they all Democrats? Are they all?
No. Well, the commission is comprised of both Democrats and Republicans.
Okay.
Basically, that they come from all parts of California.
Where do you stand right now with the commission? You need a 5-4 vote, right?
Yeah.
In order to. Where do you stand right? If the vote took place today, where would it be, Buddy, Mario?
Well, I think that they would be voting for us because
would it be across the board, do you think?
No, because you have commissioners that are also kind of extreme this side and extreme that side, so you're never going to get the full board to weigh in on one project. But I think that based on at least my interaction with commissioners and being in this process since 2009, I think that the commissioners have a good understanding of this particular project. It's a value to not only the valley but the state of California.
Go ahead, Buddy.
Okay, one thing about this process, it's a very complicated process.
Yeah.
Okay, originally the state the commission sent out interest. So there was 120 groups that were interested in funding. Then it came to filing. There was about 12 that filed. But out of the 12, there's only about 6 good applicants. The application is so complicated that our application is actually 1,800 pages.
Wow.
And to get into 1,800 pages, they had to shrink the font. It's not normal font.
Do members of the Water Commission understand this issue better than the governor and better than the 2 speakers?
Yes.
Well, you have that on your side then.
That's correct.
All right. I'm going to give the caller the final word before the break. Quickly, Mr. Merced, quickly. 10 seconds, wrap this up, and I'll go to break.
Just a couple of things. What did the fish say when he hit the concrete wall? Damn. And that's what our fish need to be saying in California. Damn. And let me tell you, let me talk about energy just for a minute.
Okay.
When you look at the resistance,
you got seconds here. Seconds. Come
when
on.
you look at the resistance against dams, look how they don't consider the megawatt usage of powerhouses powered by hydroelectric as green energy.
Correct.
What's more green than water falling behind a concrete wall with gravity through a turbine? Nothing. But yet our elected officials do not recognize that as green energy. I wish you well, gentlemen. I really wish you well.
All right. Thank you very much. Caller, Mr. Merced, I appreciate it. Buddy, can I
got
take
one quick comment.
Yeah.
Dam is a 3-letter word, not a 4-letter word. and they consider it a 4-letter word.
All right. Mario is here. Buddy is here. You're there. 436 MeTV option 11. It's a lot of controversy surrounding this issue, Temperance Flat, and a lot of people in Sacramento, the politicians, not doing enough homework to find out why this project is much needed here in the Central Valley. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. Enjoy generous-sized cooktops and sauté or simmer with ease, while true convection ovens offer even baking and juicy roasting perfection. Foods stay their freshest in spacious refrigerators with convenient controls and clear filtered ice and water. Easy to clean surfaces reduce fingerprints, and the quietest of dishwashers makes cleanup a snap. The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance.
It's the second longest river in California, starting from a sprawling watershed high in the Sierra Nevada. The San Joaquin River flows through some of the richest agricultural lands on Earth and is a key source of water for the cities and farms of Central California. But over the last 30 years, as the demands of California's existing water infrastructure have been stretched with needs for environmental protections and a state population that has doubled, agriculture in the San Joaquin Valley, where a large amount of the nation's food is grown, has suffered the most, facing head-on the absence of any new surface water storage projects in Central California since the 1970s. Now, the opportunity to change that is here. The Temperance Flat project is the right plan at the right time to protect and grow California's water security now and into the future. The Friant division of the Central Valley Project was built in the 1930s and 40s to expand California's ability to grow food for the nation and protect the sustainability of groundwater that was being overdrafted with advances in the turbine pump. Friant Dam was built in 1942 on the San Joaquin River above Fresno, providing flood control and irrigation to Eastside Valley farms and water to Eastside cities. But the dam was undersized, creating a reservoir much too small for the heavy spring runoff from the San Joaquin River watershed above it. California's climatology is well established and understood. It is normal for the state to experience extremely dry years and drought, followed by intense and extended periods of heavy precipitation.
All right. I just want people to know out there that I am no expert. Actually, I'm not an expert in anything, to be honest with you. But I'm just the host, and here's our expert here, Mario Santoyo. He's a water engineer, a civil engineer. Buddy Mendez, a supervisor. They know more about this issue than I do. I only know what I read, but we have a caller out there that's been waiting to get on the air and ask you a question here, Mario, because I know you got to leave early. You got to go up to Merced, but that's okay. Maybe you can say hi to our buddy up there. They just called in, Mr. Merced. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Is it me? I'm on the air?
Yep, you're on the air. Go.
Okay, I want to say that we are a desert. California is a desert. That means we need dams. We also need underground cisterns like they do in Israel and the Middle East, because California is one of the driest regions in the world, sometimes not receiving rains for years at a time. 3, we need to change our farming practices to more desert-like farming, such as crops that don't use as much water, like cactus, pears and stuff, which are highly valuable, olives that don't need water in the summer, stuff like that, because we don't have the water. There's no way in a drought year that even dams will work, because there'll be no water for nobody. So we're going to have to learn to live as a desert and start conserving water realistically, knowing that we get on an average of less than 8 inches of rain a year.
Okay, caller, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Looks like that caller's on your side. You want to pick it up, buddy, or Mario?
Well,
Go ahead, buddy.
first of all, you have to sell the crops you grow. I'm a farmer. You have to sell the crops you grow. Right. On the west side of the valley, I farm some of my farming operations in Westlands.
What do you farm out there? Right?
We have Pima cotton, wheat, pistachios, almonds. But you cannot grow anything unless it's on drip irrigation.
Oh.
So we have converted, the whole west side is converted to drip, and we use about half the water that we used 10 years ago.
Right.
Or at least 20 years ago.
I want Mario to address this, because I was doing some research last night, and this is what I was able to find. Okay, we've already kind of mentioned this, but it's going to cost $7.5 billion. The water bond was $7.5 billion.
Correct.
$2.7 billion is going to be used for the water projects. This project will cost $1.3. And again, I want to reiterate, Friant is about 450 million acre-feet of water. You're going to add 1.2 million acre-feet of water if you build Temperance. Now, who's it going to help? Help me out here as I run down the list.
No, it's a good
Fisheries
question.
downstream, will it help the environment?
Yes.
Will it satisfy the environmentalists that are against this?
No, because environmentalists who are against this are against dams, period. And you heard that from the first call. It doesn't matter what benefits a dam creates.
Back to dam being
they
a
don't want
four-letter
it. So
word.
extreme environmentalists, it will not satisfy them.
Right. So Temperance Flat will be 655 feet high. It's going to hold a lot of water. Friends of the River, there's a guy that's against it. He said it's going to do irreparable harm to the river gorge.
He obviously doesn't quite understand exactly the situation there. There is a section of the river where we're going to inundate that is used on occasion for whitewater rafting. Okay,
It won't harm the river gorge.
No, it's made out of rock. There's no vegetation there, so he doesn't really understand.
So it's
what
really
I'm saying.
it's bedrock there, huh?
It is. That's why it was selected to be the site.
How far does that bedrock go down? a long way?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay. And that's
so,
why, and obviously this thing will be earthquake proof if it's built.
Oh, yeah.
Am I
Oh,
right
yeah.
about that?
Yes,
Okay.
right.
Help me out here, guys, and you chime in here if you want, buddy.
You bet.
It's going to provide water during dry years, right? We kind of agree
Right.
on that because there'll be a lot more water sitting there. And would then Millerton stay more stationary and more stable with
Correct.
with a more stable environment?
Correct.
The amount of water, we won't drain Millerton to a certain extent.
No,
right?
it'll stay not exactly full, but it will stay with a lot of water most of the time. The only time it won't stay with a lot of water is in the second or third year of a drought cycle.
Right. All
But
right.
but normally it will stay full most of the time.
Okay, so you can have that.
You won't
same-
have that. You won't have that.
that up
massive
and
drop.
down
Exactly.
motion. Okay, is it going to recharge the groundwater?
Yes.
Yes.
How is the dam building Temperance going to recharge the groundwater? How is that going to happen?
I'm glad you asked that question because most people don't understand that process. Because there's always this argument, well, let's put water underground and let's not build dams. It doesn't work that way. Basically, when runoff water occurs, it comes down in large volumes in short periods of time.
Okay.
You've got to be able to move that water through canal systems to percolation basins and let it percolate into the ground. That's not instantaneously. The only way you can accomplish that is if you have a big cup of hot water, you hold that water, and with time you release it adequately
Little by little,
and let
it's
it
gotta be
percolate.
measured.
And so for us to be able to meet lots of the groundwater sustainability laws that now are going to be in play here in the Central Valley, Temperance is the only project that has that opportunity to do it because it's our ability to capture the water. If we had captured the 2.5 million acre feet this season, that would have gone a long way to fixing
2.5 million acre feet of water
Correct.
went down into the ocean.
ocean.
Right.
Correct.
All right, because we didn't have Temperance
Yeah.
Flat?
Yeah.
Correct.
We could have put that underground. If we would have stored it
All right.
and then moved it.
I'm going to take a quick break. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
Okay, you
Gotta
gotta
go.
The following is another list of things you will not hear on MeTV programs. Man cave, baby bump, whatevs. Double half-calf mochaccino, full hog, redonkulous, totes adorbs, hella, holla, YOLO, cray-cray. And MeTV is still Kardashian-free. This is what you will hear on MeTV programs.
Welcome, Benno. The Twilight Zone. About bulls. I object, Your Honor.
Mr. Grant.
I hear you right. You heard me right.
MeTV. Thanks for listening.
Giddy up with westerns, we've got the best ones. Superhero, sci-fi, spin, grab the popcorn and stay in. Dramas, mystery, and action. Take a look and see what happens. Carol, Andy, Lucy, MASH. Timeless comedies full of laughs. Hey, that's me.
That's me. That's me, Chief.
Yeah, me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
In years like this, at a time when we need to capture and store excess water the most, nearly 2 million acre-feet of water was released from Friant Dam in the first 6 months of 2017, lost to the San Joaquin River and into the Pacific Ocean, simply because Millerton Lake is too small to manage the runoff inflows above it. Temperance Flat Dam is a well-planned and thought-out project that would not only maximize the ability to capture and store water normally lost to the sea in heavy years of precipitation on the San Joaquin River, It would provide reliability and operational flexibility to existing water users of the Friant Division, dramatically increase the amount of flood protection downstream of Millerton Lake, and directly benefit groundwater recharge across significant portions of the central San Joaquin Valley. The Temperance Flat Dam would be built near the back of Millerton Lake and create a new reservoir with approximately 1.3 million acre-feet of storage. This expansion in capacity would allow the Bureau of Reclamation to better manage and store water in dry years to protect urban and agricultural interests against severe drought and give maximum control on the San Joaquin River in years when heavy rain and deep snow fall in the Sierra. Temperance Flat would also offer unique opportunities for both investment and the environment. First, water agencies will have the opportunity to purchase storage accounts, banking those accounts for dry years or trading storage accounts in the open water market. Since Temperance Flat is to be a substantial surface water project south of the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta, it will help stabilize and offset inconsistent water deliveries from the State Water Project and Central Valley Project to West Side Valley users.
All right, some of the uses, obviously, if Temperance Flat was ever built, they were expecting $1.3 billion to come their way. The Water Authority, of course, here. The Water Commission is going to decide on June 18, 2018. We got a caller waiting. I'll get to you in a moment here. Buddy Mendez is here, and of course, you've been here the entire show. Our thanks to Mario Santoyo. He had to leave to go up to a Rotary Club, I think, in Merced. Yeah, so but he'll be back. He's like the overall. Gosh, that guy's expertise is amazing. He's a civil engineer. But I want to take this call real quick because you've been patient. So go ahead. You're on with Buddy Mendez, the Fresno County Supervisor.
Am I on air now?
Yes, you are, sir. Go ahead.
So I'm on air. Okay. I like the idea of Temperance Flat Dam. I like for us to have several dams, even on the Kern River and other stuff, because we don't want to waste water, especially in a very dry and arid climate. In some areas, we get less than 2 inches of rain. Even Bakersfield, on average, gets only 4 inches of rain a year. Hanford gets less than 8 inches. We literally need to store water, and we need it for hydroelectric power. We need solar power to even pump water up so that the dams can produce water during peak consumption of electricity. We need water for nuclear power, because if you use nuclear power plants and they run out of water, you have a full-scale, all-out nuclear meltdown, which is a radioactive leak. And so we have to have water. Water is essential for all things. People like clean clothes. They like to take showers. They like to wash dishes. They like to have nice food. Well, they ain't going to get jack if they don't have water. And we need to help the environment, too, because guess what? We like to go deer hunting. We like to do things that are in the mountains. Even firefighters need water to put out fires. So we're going to have to learn to expand our ability to store and save water and help the environment and the farmers, and make sure that the farmers are careful with water, because in a desert, you don't waste something that's not easily available.
Okay, caller, you made your point. I really appreciate it. That's an excellent call. Buddy, you want to pick up on that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of an obvious. We have to have more dams. We don't have enough dam capacity on the Kings or the San Joaquin, but we have a chance now to do something about the San Joaquin. So we need to fix that problem. And actually, the biggest beneficiary still to this project is going to be the city of Fresno.
Right, and before Mario left, he kind of explained how it's going to help recharge the groundwater. His explanation.
Right, and it's about it's about time. Dams give you time, because basically without the dam, you only have between January and about the first of anywhere from the early part of June to the end of June. Then you could do recharge. That's the only times without the dam, because then the flows fall off.
Will this dam help both farmers on the east side and the west side?
Correct.
You
it will do
mentioned
both.
that because
It
you're
will
a west
do
side
both.
farmer, right?
Yeah, and also an east side farmer, but it will help the west side, because the investment piece is going to be about buying storage.
Thank you.
So people along the Friant water users, which the city of Fresno is a Friant water user, can buy storage along with the Delta Mendota Water Authority. That's the West Side group.
Okay.
They can buy storage. And even some of the Kings group through Fresno Irrigation District, which is a Friant water user and a Kings water user, they can work with them and actually buy storage.
So what you're actually talking about is users of this project, meaning people that want water from Temperance Flat. Talking about the users of the project, users
Right.
of the water, including environmental groups, will be able to purchase a storage account of water and use it however they want without any political pressure.
Correct.
Am I right about that?
Correct.
So if Buddy Mendez wants to buy that
Well,
water...
I have to be a government entity of some
well,
sort.
I understand that. Yeah,
Yes.
that part I understand.
Right.
But I'm talking about some of these environmental groups that want to take that water and help the fisheries, maybe help the environment downstream. They can purchase that water if they're a government entity. And
Right,
help
but right
those.
now we have this, which I really don't like, but it's part of what was settled, the San Joaquin settlement.
Yeah.
It will actually produce cold water for that settlement.
Right, because as you know, the salmon, they need cold water.
Right.
They have to have the cold water. Caller, you're on the air with Buddy Mendez. Go ahead.
My question was asked. I couldn't hear all that great, but what percentage of the water would be promised to the West Side farmers to produce our crops that we purchase?
Oh, yeah, you kind of touched on that, but I'm glad you called, caller. Because go ahead and pick it up.
Okay, there's really nothing set in stone right now, and they're all working together. There's two the exchange contractors and the San Luis Authority are both separate members to the Temperance Flat JPA, along with the Friant water users. So that's something that is going to have to be worked out with them as they move forward. And what the actual percentage, it's hard to say, but it's going to be about who wants to buy the storage.
Yeah. Caller, are you still there with Buddy Mendez? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm still here. Well, I guess that pretty much answered my question. I was just hoping that a percentage would definitely go to the West Side. I miss my vegetables from there.
Yeah, I understand.
But,
Okay.
well, I guess that's not much of a win-win over there.
Well, no,
okay.
It is a win. It's not a lose.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the other hand. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, caller. I appreciate your time. Okay, talking about how this is going to enhance flood protection downstream, because obviously 1997, you know what happened in 1997.
Right.
We
Lost
had-
control of the dam.
Lost control of the dam, lost control of how much was coming out of there, and downstream it was a catastrophe. Even this year you've had some damage downstream.
Right.
The San Joaquin River, because of all the influx of water that has come in, just millions of gallons of water. So how is this going to help flood protection and help restore the San Joaquin River downstream?
Okay, even if, one of the problems with a settlement is they have to spend money to improve the channel. And when you have continuing floods, and one of the reasons why they don't want to spend any money to improve the channel is when you get these big flows of water, 8 to 10,000 second feet, they have a tendency to gorge the river out and knock all that out of there.
Okay, all right.
So you have a lot lower flows,
Okay.
and lower flows are a lot better.
All right. Caller, you're on the air with Buddy Mendez. Very little time because I want to ask him about a couple of other topics besides Temperance Flat. Go, you're on the air. Quickly, though. Got just a few seconds.
Buddy, real quick. Why can't they build tanks like in the winery industry to farmers where they can store water from the waste treatment plants, clean it up and then send it to the farmers and get fresh water from there? Instead of building the dams, which would take years to even get it going, I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's not practical. That's the problem. You can't build tanks big enough. to do that.
So the governor can't weigh in on this. He can't nix the deal. Neither can the two speakers, the Senate or the Assembly. The Water Commission is going to come down with their decision, 9 members in June of 2018. What are the chances?
I think we got a good chance of getting state money. Will it be 1.3 million? Maybe not, because they really need to. I really envision the commission to divvy the money up between about 3 or 4 projects.
Right. Hey, I want to ask you a couple of other things before we go. Things that are hot in the news, and as long as I have you, I'll ask you some hot items just off the press here.
Okay.
Talking about quickly. There's a lot of talk about this. The building downtown, Fresno's historic downtown building. Supervisors yesterday voted, including you, for a 10-year, $15.1 million lease for a 105-year-old building for the Fresno County District Attorney's Office. All those DAs are going to move in there when?
Probably next summer.
Next summer. So it was approved across the board.
Yeah,
yesterday?
maybe not. Yeah, it was. And you got to realize that the building's 105 years old, but it's been completely gutted in the inside.
Why is that a good idea?
That's a good idea. Just the shell of the building looks old.
Hang on, caller.
It's actually inside. It's going to be a new building.
But why is this a good idea for Fresno?
Okay, the DA needs to be downtown. The DA is in about 4 buildings throughout the city.
Okay.
They'll be able to put everybody, including the DA investigators, in that building.
Okay, and that's why. And it was a sweep across the board on the vote.
Yes.
Okay, and you think that's a great idea for Fresno?
It's a great idea. It's something that should have happened 20 years ago.
Okay, quickly before we go to this call here, a lot of controversy about Joseph Arpaio appearing here in Fresno Friday. I guess it's going to be at the Country Club in Southeast Fresno, San Joaquin Country Club. Will you be attending?
No, I won't.
Okay, is it a good idea that he comes here?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about nothing.
A lot about nothing.
You know, it's kind of a Seinfeld deal. I've got other things to do. I'm not going to go. I think they could have picked somebody less controversial, and that's
too controversial.
Well, I don't think he's really that controversial, but they could have picked somebody less controversial.
But too much of a hot potato.
There you go.
There you go. For the Republican Party. Will this hurt the Republican Party?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Caller, quickly. Buddy's almost out of time here. Quickly.
I just wanted to say that we wouldn't be wasting as much water on fires if the EPA would let the loggers go in, cut down the old trees, plant new trees, clean up, and they'd have roads to drive to fight the fires.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. We got 1 minute left. Anything else you want to say here before we go?
I'll just answer a question. It's called forest mismanagement, and it was done by the federal government.
All right. All right. So we covered a lot of topics today, and you're convinced that this Temperance Flat thing is going to go.
Yes.
Next year.
Yeah.
We're going to get some money, enough to plant
This is
that
a long
seed.
process. This is it'll be from the day we get done. It gets started the day we get done. Could be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, these are long process. But one thing that keep in mind, this is a very fundable project. This isn't high-speed rail where they were going to get these imaginary investors.
Gotcha.
This isn't the problem here.
If somebody wants to call your office real quick, the number is?
600-4000.
You got it. Buddy Mendez, good to see you.
All righty.
I'm glad you were here.
Yeah.
All right. Fresno County Supervisor Buddy Mendez, and our thanks to Mario Santoyo. They'll both be back at some point to talk about Temperance Flat. See you tomorrow with Peter Nazaridian. No, hang on.